Donald Trump and Zelenskyy had just a regular meeting at the Oval Office, and it was fireworks, and I don't think anybody was expecting that. I certainly wasn't. I just saw a bunch of tweets come out, and first one I saw was Russell Brand tweeted about it, and then it just took off from there. So I mean, it was crazy. Have you actually seen it yet? What happened?
No.
It is the news of the day.
Somebody told me about it, and then something on my phone said that Trump was humiliated by him, but I was talking to people who saw it, and like, no, I wouldn't say that.
Somebody said that Trump was humiliated by him?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. I don't know. I've seen it a few times. I watched it through a couple of times and everything that happened. We're going to try something new on our Friday evening. We don't even know what we're calling this. Like, this is Friday night with Brandon and Jesse.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we've been kind of calling it. I don't know. Simple, straight to the point. All right. My name is Brandon Fogel. This is Jesse, and this is Friday night with Brandon and Jesse. Sounds cool. Catchy. It's catchy. It's catching on. All right, we are going to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to be messing with the controls a little bit. We don't have our Jamie. Bonnie is not. She's out on the lam. She's somewhere. Should be in bed by now, but you don't think she should?
No.
It's a school night?
No, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a long week. You're familiar with school nights.
We haven't had a full week of school, and I don't even know how long. Snow and ice and everything.
Are you liking that, or is it nice to have a routine, be back in a routine though?
No.
It's not?
No.
Yeah.
My routine was staying home on snow day.
I sometimes it's nice to be back. For me, it's good to be back in a routine. Maybe teachers are different.
Everybody I talk to, at the end of the day, I'm like, you ready to go home? I'm like, yeah, this was the longest week ever.
Teachers?
We're exhausted.
Teachers, I think you got a pretty sweet gig, though. I think, besides the kids part, all the students dealing with kids all day.
Well, that's kind of the main part of it.
I know, but you get summers off. That's pretty nice.
Well, a lot of us do summer school, and then we have even less. We're preparing, getting ready for the next year. It's not that much off.
But still, oh my goodness. Okay. All right, so we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to show a couple clips of what happened today with Donald Trump and Zelenskyy. Let's see if these come through right. We'll find out.
I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me?
All right. So there's 3 clips I wanted to show just to kind of set the stage of what happened, and then we can kind of discuss it. So Trump and Zelenskyy, 2 world powers, and Zelenskyy, I have my views. What are your, before I even say anything, what do you think of the whole situation?
I don't know what the situation is. I just know it wasn't Russia. Are they continually attacking Ukraine still?
Yeah, Ukraine and Russia. It's been at least 2 years. 2 years of war. It started in February of, maybe it was like 2023. 2020 is either 2022 or 2023. So it's been at least 2 years of war, where we thought it was only going to last 2 weeks. And the whole issue is Ukraine is very heavily dependent on us supporting them, funding them, giving them arms. And I mean,
do we have people over there?
Like soldiers?
Yes.
We got soldiers everywhere. I don't know if we necessarily have boots on the ground or anything like that, but I think it's mainly just us. We've spent like $300 billion of just funding them. And what happened today, it seemed like Zelenskyy, and I've went back and forth on this, because it is, let me switch back a little right now, just go back to Zelenskyy. This is a guy that's been in war for 3 years, so you got to keep that in consideration. And I've seen different videos of him, like it seems like almost like he's kind of like tweaking or doing something. He like hardness of war is getting to him a little bit, you know?
I bet.
It's so I mean, I think it would get to anyone that he's going through, but like even in this interview or this sit down, he just doesn't look like a man that's everything's right, and that's I mean to be expected. He's been in war. I mean, constantly like the weight of his country is on his shoulders, and he's having to carry it, and
yeah, that's probably true. But from what I heard, I didn't see it, but what I heard, he was just attacking us. And like, why aren't you, I don't know, he wasn't being grateful for anything we did
Mm-hmm.
And it's like his people are probably like, shush, what if they withdraw their help or something?
Yeah, that was the thing. And JD Vance was really pushing back on him, which, I mean, Donald Trump and JD Vance I tweeted out, we finally got men, leaders for our country that like these guys are standing up, and JD Vance he was not backing down whatsoever. It was really cool. I mean, he was just like, Zelenskyy was just sitting back and not showing any gratefulness to our country, to the administration that's in power right now, Trump and Vance. And I think it's because he had a smooth gravy train coming his way, and Biden and Harris, they were giving them anything they want, and it was a blank check. As much as you need, we're going to give you all you need and more. And because he was basically promoting for Biden and Harris, like he wanted them in there in power, and it's like to be expected.
Then awkward now that he has to deal with Trump.
Yeah, so I don't think he's too happy about that.
Yeah.
All right, this is the one causing all the mischief. His name is Rowan. He's a warrior. He's a warrior. He's gonna be I'm gonna get him into jujitsu and karate martial arts. That's the goal. Can you see yourself, Rowan? Is he what's he thinking? Is his tummy full now?
No, he didn't eat.
But
he should be asleep.
I wonder what woke you up. What woke you up, buddy? You just thought he wanted a midnight snack. A midnight snack. We're gonna go to second clip. This is going to be more JD Vance stepping in and kind of taking the show. It was really cool. JD Vance, he's so smart, and like he doesn't back down. He's not Trumpian. He's not that much, but he is still like a fighter, and it's really cool.
We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office to try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to...
Okay. And it got a lot more heated, and there's a tipping point that it really took off, and that's going to be the next soundbite that we're going to take a look at, which everybody's probably seen it a few times already. I've already watched it like maybe 10 times already, just because it starts off with basically Zelenskyy says, you all are going to feel it. You're going to feel like if you don't step in and continue funding, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel
what does that mean?
that. Well, we're gonna hear what he says, but then Trump, he doesn't want any of it, and I don't know. Everybody thinks that was an ambush. This whole thing got set up like this, but it would not have got out of hand and spiraled out of hand like it did unless Zelenskyy is the one who I would say was the main contributing factor of why it went off this way. I think there's a lot of it that he doesn't. His English is broken. Like he doesn't. It's not like it's another language for him. So, and I think he's very just stern, and he's just a man that's just been war for the last 3 years. He's representing his people. So I go back and forth because I like Zelenskyy, but then we got to do what's right for the American people first, and in our best interest. That's the only way that we're going to be able to continue to take care of and help the rest of the world. If we just kind of just bleed ourselves dry, we're not ultimately going to be able to help have as great of an influence. If we give everything away, everything's free, and I think the biggest thing, like, he wasn't grateful at all, and that was what J.D. Vance kept saying over and over to him was, "Have you even said thank you once?" And I think he was saying it more. He would say thank you to the previous administration because he was happy getting all the dollars coming his way and rolling in. But now is this really necessary? Let's try to find a different way. We can't just continually give you money and no progress be made. And Trump is ready to he wants to somehow get peace between the countries. But
because early on, Zelenskyy was like a star, you know. Like, I know he actually was in the movies in his country or something, but he was like this Superman or something. Everybody looked up to him. Now he's kind of changing a little bit.
I mean, overall, I think Zelenskyy, like, it is funny that, like, the people that, like, almost have the greatest impact in politics come out of the movie industry or TV shows. You know, Reagan, you think of Reagan, you think of Donald Trump, you think of Zelenskyy himself. And I've seen, like, some of the stuff he's done, like, the videos and movies or shows he created, and, like, they're really weird, you know? I mean, some of them are. Zelenskyy, yeah, very weird stuff. You know, like, I mean, not at all the guy that you see now. It's like, he's like just a flamboyant, doing all these weird things, and it's really crazy. Not at all like his stern demeanor that he has now. It's completely the opposite. But all right, this is what the last one we're going to take a look at, and then we'll kind of just talk more about everything. This is where it kind of took off and went off, it derailed, as some people say.
During the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not
cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't. You're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing.
All right, so yeah, I mean, this doesn't happen normally. This is, which is so weird about this whole situation is these things are reserved for behind closed doors.
Yeah,
you know, you don't have like this in front of the media. This kind of argument, this is what's weird about it.
Was it supposed to be like humiliating to Trump? Was that the point?
About what? Which part?
Like, why did he just come and start attacking us?
Well, I mean,
was this the plan all along, or did he just get carried away?
Trump and them, they laid the ground. Him and Vance laid the groundwork of like this. It's not going to be like it was previously, and things are changing. We're not just going to give you a blank check anymore. So Zelensky's coming into that like his guards are up. You know, he's not like just thinking clearly. I don't think he's thinking clearly at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, he might just be scared and frustrated that his money might be gone. I mean, did they tell him he's not getting it as much, or?
Well, I mean,
what was actually said?
I don't think it's just not going to be like as free flowing as it was, and he knows that he's got to deal with a new administration that's not going to just bend over for him and just give him everything. It's not going to be like that anymore, and I think he's just not. He's not thinking straight. Zelenskyy is not thinking straight at all, and I think he's just beaten down by the war. That's how I see it, because he's not. Maybe a couple years ago he would be a lot different than he is now, but he's just had years of just been like money just flowing into his coffers. He's had money constantly coming in and funding. It's been nonstop, and just a completely different look and different perspective from the new administration.
Mm-hmm. But still, he should know that that's not going to help anything.
Doing it.
Just being
that's why it's very shocking to me that he was acting like that. I don't understand it at all. Like, I would have thought he would have been different. I thought he would have, because what's his end game? What is he trying to going about it this way and just coming out with no thankfulness? He's not putting himself in a good position, or his country. Because if he loses the U.S. and the backing of the U.S., I don't know. I mean, how would he stand against Russia? We're the only reason he has been able to survive, because we're funding their complete military and all that they have.
It's just like an ungrateful child, just if you're thankful for things, you're like, oh, well, here's some more. But if you're not grateful for it, it's like, you're not getting anything.
Yeah. And I think because everything has just been changed completely, with Doge coming in and Elon Musk.
What does that stand for?
Department of Government Efficiency. And Elon was on Joe Rogan's show today, or it was released today, and Elon talked about how they came up with the name Doge. Well, of course, Elon loves the crypto Doge, yeah. But it was originally going to be something government efficiency, and he thought it was boring, but then someone brought to him Department of Government Efficiency, and he's like, yeah, we're going with that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
what's Elon's title?
He's just he's the head of
the president.
He's the head of Doge. Yeah, he's just the head of Doge right now. So
BFF of the president. Yeah.
But I just know with Elon and Joe Rogan that I haven't listened to the entire podcast that was dropped today, but it's there. It could be the one that's going to be the most watched ever, and it's I think the one it would have to rival would be Trump when Trump went on there, and I don't know if it could actually. But Elon and him were talking about Doge and all the stuff and cutting all the wasteful government spending that is happening, and he was just talking about how it's not too hard to get this ship right because there is so much waste happening. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to get it going right. And he's like, and I know rocket science because he literally is a person that is sending spaceships into the
nice.
Space. Just this whole situation with Zelenskyy and Trump, because Zelenskyy, he's got to go back to his country. And I don't know what he has to show for it at all. What?
Ouch.
By acting that way, what did he get out of it? And he went on to different shows afterwards and talking about it, and he didn't have any remorse. Didn't want to retract anything he says. He regretted how it ended up happening and everything ended up turning out, but he didn't regret not being thankful. He didn't regret just the whole standoff that they had with one another. He didn't wasn't sorry about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to have like lunch and dinner or whatever. But Trump said, no, we're done with this, and send them out. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Back to the Doge again. Is he really letting go a lot of workers for the government?
So right now, I think they're going after just what workers are actually there, and they're trying to find out who is, because there's been a lot of just blank checks that have been cut, and they just started fulfilling them to people, and then those people stop working there, and then but the spout never gets turned off, so it's just so much, just billions of dollars just get wasted instantly and just continually just pouring out. Mm-hmm. And they're just trying to find out where those are. And so there have been people that have been cut from the government, but overall it's going to be painful at the beginning, and they're going to see what is actually essential and what isn't. Okay, so we're back. Well, I'm back. Jesse is still working with Rowan right now, but I wanted to get on here because there was a lot of stuff I wanted to actually talk about with everything going on with the Zelenskyy and Donald Trump meeting today, because that is what is going to come of that. It could take us down a not so good of a path, But I think overall, it's definitely a good thing that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are standing that strong and firm for the American people. I 100% agree with them and what they did, and not backing down whatsoever. Because Zelenskyy, he came at him like full throttle, it's just a different culture. It's like a completely different culture and perspective. It's a different language barrier that Zelenskyy has with speaking English. I mean, I can barely speak English, and him speaking another language, and he had to have an interpreter every now and then to say a couple things and to make sense of what Donald Trump and what JD Vance were saying. And so it's understandable the way that he came at it, and he had his guards up. Everything's been just given to him. Zelenskyy, which I mean, I go back and forth. I mean, we want the best for Ukraine. We want the best for Ukraine and the Ukrainian people. We want the war to stop and to stop the bloodshed and stop the people dying and to stop Putin from, so it is really, it's a tough situation because you love the people that are there, but you also know that we can't just continually giving them money and funding and just nonstop and just them bleed us dry and not have anything to show for it. Like we think of Afghanistan and Iraq, and we've had a lot of wasted wars, and that's troubling, and that's troublesome for a lot of people. A lot of people that lost their lives, lost treasure and wasteful spending, and then just the lives of our soldiers that we spent, and they died over in different countries, and that's hard to say because I mean, absolutely 100% love our military, but when people make wrong decisions and we invade somewhere that doesn't need to be invaded, and we kind of just settle and occupy an area that doesn't need to be occupied, we don't need to be the policemen of the world. And I think Donald Trump is definitely changing that whole mindset that we've had as Americans and that the people in our government have had. So this whole Ukrainian thing it's hot. It's a hot topic because it's like, where do you stand? Keep just giving, because on both sides, people are they're full in, all out for one or the other. They I'm completely all in, America should stop funding Ukraine, or Trump is Hitler and Ukraine, Ukraine is everything, and I see it from both sides, and it's kind of, as opposed to just come into the situation with common sense and what does the situation call for. I think Donald Trump, he's trying to bring sensibility and reason to the situation, that we cannot continue just to give you unlimited funding. There's got to be, we want to support you and we are backing you, but we cannot just continue and not see basically anything get fixed or any end game. What's the end game? You're not going to be able to beat Russia and win this war, and Russia is going to continue to come at you, unless there's got to be some type of agreement, some type of treaty, some type of peace that has to be won. So if we just continue to go down this road of just continuing just unlimited funding, give it, and just don't stop, and it's like, where's all that money going? Where's all that money going? I've just heard some troubling things about Zelenskyy. He's probably a decent person, and he's doing great things for his country, but I've heard just different things. He's basically stopped any possibility of an election happening over there, removed democratic process over there, that he has basically installed himself as the power. And he doesn't seem like that at all, but I mean, it's your real test in who you are, and your character just bleeds through when you have power. And he has power now. He has power, significant power. and probably not told no that often in the people that he is surrounded by. And he's just in a bad situation, a terrible situation. And just Putin is not a good dude. He is a terrible, terrible human being, you know? So, and he's going against that. He's going against that. And it's like, we want to stop Putin. We have to stop Putin. But the way that we were doing it is not working. It's definitely not working. We spent like decades over in Afghanistan and over in just the Middle East, and what to show for it. I know it's a hot topic. It's very political, and people have their viewpoint on one way or the other, are very strong in their beliefs about it, Whereas maybe let's just bring some common sense to it, Let's bring some common sense to the situation and know that we cannot continue doing the same thing and expecting a different result. Something's got to change, and I think something is changing, and I think it's great that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance stood toe-to-toe with Zelenskyy, I don't think it was very hard, honestly, for Donald Trump to stand toe-to-toe with Zelenskyy. Trump has got, massive confidence. You could say confidence, ego, whatever, He's got whatever it is that I have never seen before. And that's why I'm so just awestruck by the human being, because the onslaught that he's endured and able to continue doing the things that he does is just incredible to me. I know some people don't like Trump, and a lot of people don't like Trump, but I think a lot of people are coming around. I think a lot of people are seeing that overall our country was not going down the best road. And if we are going to get anything in order for our country, to have a future for our country, because I've been in situations where I've been at places where basically you spend yourself into oblivion, you go into just massive debt, and you can't just continue spending and just going deeper and deeper in debt. Eventually, it catches up with you. And the way that our country is going, that's why it's so weird, because our country just creates currency. It just, by fiat, just makes more and more money. So it's different that way. But and we've just now started feeling inflation in a lot of ways, significantly. But the way that we are going, we will eventually go off a cliff unless we change something. And I had been of the opinion for the longest time that I don't care. I'm not a conservative in that aspect. I don't care about spending, because it's like, how in the world would we ever actually fix the hole that we're in and dig ourselves out? How would that even be possible? But I almost can see it. I can almost get a glimmer of it. Like, if we change the trajectory that we're going and make things better and change the way that we've been doing it, significantly. It would almost take a miracle to get us where we are not this deep in trillions and trillions in dollars of debt. And just hearing the podcast today by Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, Elon was just saying that the amount of debt that we are in, double that easily. Once we come to actual full fleshed out entitlements for what people will be owed in the future, basically of pouring their money in and spent Social Security. It's not a sustainable way of taking care of future generations, because people are spending it, pouring money in where they're not going to see that at all, and Trump has made it clear he's not going to touch Social Security, but there's got to be some things that they're going to have to touch. And it's I'm like, anybody my age and probably even younger, definitely younger, do you actually think you're going to see Social Security when you get old? That's where I think it's the generations before us, they just took. They just took it, they just took it, and they kind of left a lot of the younger generations basically hung out to dry. And I know it's not, if I talk to an older person, like even like people that I know that are older, them personally, it's not them doing it. It's basically, it's the system that was put in place. So it's not anybody individual. My generation and the generations before me would do the exact same thing based on the system that was put in place. But I think it's great that we have people that are a part of like that are in power now that actually want to fix it, that are the older ones in the room. Donald Trump, he's not a spry young cat anymore. JD Vance, I mean, he's basically a little bit older than me. And so he's on my level, he's definitely a lot higher level in a lot of ways, but we come from the same kind of era. So there is a possibility to right the ship. That's what I believe. And I think it's great that people that are in high power right now, that they're actually wanting to do that. They're actually wanting to do that. And I think it's a possibility. I mean, because this all ties in, all roads lead to Rome. All roads converge somewhere, and all roads make sense overall when we actually fully follow them to their logical conclusion, that the spending has to stop. The spending, like blank check, just giving countries and just foreign aid that we do, that we just give. Why are we giving money to everywhere? So that we can have something that we can take away from them if they don't act the way that we want. Overall, it's got to stop. And I think with the new administration coming in, they're clearly not doing it's not the same stuff that previous administrations have done. And I know that's why a lot of people are getting upset, Zelenskyy included. He's not happy about it at all.